In December 2024, I visited the tunnels where the Vietnam War happened. I learned a shitload about mindset, sales, warriorship, and I've since become a more powerful, wealthy, and grateful man. Here's how you can use those lessons to do the same for yourself. This video is divided into two parts. The first part is about the inspiration of influence and persuasion, which I personally took from, this is gonna sound a bit crazy, but the you-know-whos. The media, the propagandists, the war machine, the weapons, the private weapon companies that convinced everyone to have the Vietnam War in the first place. Because when you can influence and persuade and be as convincing as they were to do something as ridiculous as the Vietnam War in the first place, and you apply that to your own goals as a man, you can achieve literally anything you want. The second is my honor, my ode to the warriors who were involved in the Vietnam War on the ground level, the soldiers, the Viet Cong, the Americans. Those guys were the epitome of masculinity. And when we extract those traits of warriorship and we apply them to our own lives and our own journeys as men in times of peace, you realize that not only are you way more capable than you think, but there is no excuse not to achieve everything you've ever wanted. So this is going to be an amazing video full of motivation, inspiration, and highly functionable lessons. So stick around, and I promise you this is going to level you up massively. Become your own propaganda machine and brainwash yourself into believing literally anything is possible, because clearly anything is possible. Case in point, the Vietnam War itself. You have to understand this war was so ridiculous on every measurable metric, yet it still happened. That shows the power of belief. And the people that we're drawing inspiration here, you know, the military industrial complex, these evil people, they somehow conceived of the world's most retarded plan of all time, and they still made it happen so that they could get more money and more power. And that was, they made these tanks. Look at this tank on the screen. They manufactured and airdropped tens of thousands of these multi-ton death machines onto the other side of the world. Not only that, they convinced a country of 200 million people, i.e. the USA in 1960, during a time of immense peace and prosperity, out of nowhere, that it would be a good idea to take 2 million of their bravest, strongest, the young men, the backbone of their society, and just airdrop them into a jungle no one had ever heard of. 10,000 miles on the other side of the planet to go and fight an enemy that no one had ever heard of for an explanation they never even gave. That right there is evidence that literally anything is possible, and with the right level of persuasion and belief, you can literally achieve anything. Really understand this for a second. You had 18-year-old Idaho chicken farmers playing the bluegrass banjo, Billy Joe Jennings and Ricky Ray Rufus just chilling out on their veranda, going to the big screen drive-thrus with their girlfriends and sweethearts, just thinking life was great. And then a few weeks later, they had been convinced to stick a bayonet on the end of an M16 and go and have a knife fight with a 5'2" Oriental midget who they didn't even realize existed. That is insanity. If you ask those same guys to point out Vietnam on a map, bearing in mind this was before the internet, they'd say, where the hell is Vietnam? They wouldn't even know where the fuck it was. Yet here we are again a few weeks later, and they're throwing firebombs at a load of little yellow looking goblins who live in a tin shed with absolute hatred in their hearts for a group of people they didn't even know existed. That is the power of persuasion, purely because a talking noisy box, a TV and a newspaper told them to. And those were only 1/3 who signed up voluntarily of the 2 million people. So that's about, what, 700,000 soldiers voluntarily signed up to go and fight and die and get traumatized in a war against a country on a map that they had never ever heard of before, right? What about the other 2/3 that make up the rest of the 2 million? Well, they were forced to go under threat of going to prison otherwise. Here's the most insane part about all of this. It was all paid for by the public. They literally crowdfunded a $1.3 trillion war. So you've got to see this as a business, just like you guys are running a business right now. They had an offer, their offer being war, and they presented that with a clever marketing positioning, and that was called defense, right? So here's how the offer works and how these businessmen work, because that is all they are, right? All these politicians are, all of these weapon contractors, they are literally businessmen selling something and using clever marketing to do it. And not only that, they're selling a thing which doesn't even make sense, that no one even wants, which is the illegal murder of random foreign civilians, right? And this is how they do it. They literally convince you you are under threat by this foreign people that you've never heard of before, and they use really clever ads in the form of news reports and stuff like that. So they manufacture a problem, which is you're under threat. They then provide a solution. Well, that's us. We're going to help you and keep you safe and, defend your patriotism and freedom. And guess what? You're going to pay for it. So you're going to give us half your tax. We're going to give it to our friends that make a load of bombs. And we're going to use those bombs to go and blow up a load of people that you didn't even know existed. But don't worry, it's in your benefit. And we're going to sacrifice all of our best soldiers in the process. So that is the offer. That on paper is not a good offer. No one actually wants that. Right? We all know this because we all know that war is disgusting and no one actually wants it to happen, and there's no reason for any of the modern wars to happen anymore. Now, what's so interesting to me is that this sales system has been repeated throughout history. Right now we're looking at Vietnam, but it's happened in Libya and Syria, Palestine, Iraq, Russia, Ukraine, even before Vietnam in both the world wars. It's going to happen in the future, no doubt.
And the craziest thing is that no one wants these wars, yet the people responsible for them and profiting off of them still get away with it every single time.
Now, here's why. All of this should inspire you massively and how you can use all of this mindset advice to improve your own life. First, obviously, click thumbs up if you haven't already and subscribe to this motherfucking channel. It's obviously the best on YouTube. I'm turning you into a richest Optimus Primus, space-walking, time-warping, motherfucking version of yourself. Give me some support in return. So obviously in 2025, no one wants to keep funding with their own tax the traumatic false invasions of poor countries. Yet these military industrial scammers and governments keep continually getting away with it, which is evidence that reality is hackable. You can and you will achieve whatever you decide you will. You can either get annoyed by the fact that evil people get away with stuff that doesn't make sense, or you can be inspired by it and decide, I'm also going to achieve whatever I want. No matter how retarded it is on the surface, you can apply the same reality bending magic and persuasion to your own life. You need to psyop yourself to be willing and capable and believe you can easily generate 100 grand a month, $1 million a month, win whatever fight, get whatever girlfriend, drive whatever car, fucking reach whatever inner nirvana, transcend space and time, like whatever your goals are. You have to be able to convince yourself with the same ease that the you-know-who's convinced 16-year-old Billy Ray Bob and fucking Billy Joe Jennings from Idaho and Arkansas that 19-year-old fucking Yang Fan Dutch from Ho Chi Minh wanted to kill his grandmother in 1960, to the point that he was willing, that those chicken farmers were willing to go for a fucking few weeks of training, jump out of a plane, and then go run at this random teenage Vietnamese that they never knew existed. You have to convince yourself that your own goals are just as possible as those goals that the social engineers, that the propaganda machines, that the government, that the you-know-who's had for the Vietnam War, for their business plan of the Vietnam War. That was such a crazy business proposition that they made so much money and power off. It was so ridiculous on paper, yet they still made it happen. So if they can do that, I'm pretty sure you can make 10 grand a month. Do you get what I'm saying? You can go cold approach a chick. Like, it's not that hard. So that's the first point, is that be inspired by this shit, honestly. Like, yes, it's upsetting. Yes, it might not seem fair, but here's the thing. Life is fair. It absolutely is fair. Life is what it is. Whatever you decide happens. It is the truth. They decided, these evil people, we're going to go start a war in Vietnam. It's going to be funded by a taxpayer. We're going to sacrifice loads of our young people, but we're going to get rich from it. They fucking did it. Do you get what I mean? So you can just take that same mindset and apply it to what's good, what's righteous, to improve the world versus destroy it. And if you don't want to empower yourself in the way I'm suggesting you do, then fucking force yourself. Give your own self the threat of prison, so you don't even have a choice. Because honestly, that is kind of how the world is in 2025. Either you empower yourself with pure abundance that anything's possible, or you live a very enslaved life that is very unfulfilling and it's genuinely miserable. You know, you fucking get your 20 grand a year, you pay half of it to the government so they can go do all of this crazy shit with it. Girls will ignore you, you'll just attract miserable people, and everything in the environment's trying to bring you down, and it will. So that's your alternative. So if you don't want that, better get to it. Better start believing that anything's possible and that you can have a great life and a dream life, and go fucking make it happen. Those are your two choices. Do it from power or force. The point is, the outcome is entirely in your hands, and life is fair, and it is what you make of it. So that's point number one. Part number two, be inspired by these warriors. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and we should absolutely be grateful for how easy it is to be successful in 2025. And we should honor their sacrifice, because of guys like this that went and were forced to go through wars like they were. We've reached a point in modern society where we don't have to do that anymore. Like, it is literally up to us how we live our life, and we have such a level of freedom now we should absolutely be making the most of it and honoring their sacrifice by taking motivation from their strength to become the most successful versions of ourselves. So number one, for example, is the sheer courage to partake in the firefights that these guys had. The courage of the Americans to deal with those fucking traps of the Viet Cong, to live in a jungle in this foreign environment and just fight a war that they absolutely didn't understand and were hardly prepared for. The courage of the Viet Cong to face the might of the American air support is another thing. Just the pure fucking warriorship, the ferocity, the literal physical courage of these guys to take part in the firefights that they did is just mind-blowing, and we should absolutely be inspired by that. Number two is the ones that didn't even want to be there. Like I said, 2/3 of the American soldiers were just forced to go there by threat of jail. But you know what? They had the loyalty, they had the camaraderie, they fought for their brothers that they stood next to. They thought, all right, well, I don't even want to fucking be here. I don't want to die for like this country that clearly doesn't even love me enough to the fact they're going to just go and send me to go die for their stupid war. But I haven't got a choice. I'm in the fucking trenches right now, and I'm going to do my absolute best and use my life to protect the brothers next to me on my left and right, and they're going to do the same. That is absolutely inspirational, and that kind of loyalty and integrity and courage, again, is something that we can genuinely draw strength from in our own life as very blessed civilians in 2025. And number three, the mental resilience, fucking hell, the physical resilience to survive the conditions of the jungle. Look, if you've never been to the jungle, it is the most dangerous place on earth if you don't know what you're doing. Like the disease, the conditions, the animals, the malnutrition, the climate, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of accessibility, the lack of modern medicine, the lack of comfort. It is absolutely disgusting. So to have fucking lived and fought a war there for multiple years on end, the resilience that takes is absolutely astounding. So if life's getting you down and you feel like you're uncomfortable, trust me, it can be a lot worse. And the fact that you even get to complain about a lack of comfort itself is a privilege. So fucking get your shit together and start actually realizing how good you've got it. Number four is the social resilience of these guys. You've got to understand, like, a lot of them didn't want to go to this war. They were in a very, very lose-lose situation. Either they didn't go to war that they didn't believe in, and they got called a pussy and got put in jail, or they lost their freedom, or they went to war, forced themselves to just fucking want to do it, and then they lost their limbs and they lost their sanity because of the absolute disgusting hell on earth that it actually was and the trauma of the war in the first place. So it's such a lose-lose. But you got to understand, the ones that did go and then came back, this is why it was even more of a fucking insane thing for them to go through, and how genuine, what men these guys actually were, how they were just genuinely built differently. They went without even really wanting to go, a lot of them, survived the fucking war in the first place, the napalm, the parasites, the fucking crazy Vietnamese traps, all of this mad shit, came back to America, and then the same pussies that didn't want to go and didn't actually do it, was spitting on them. You get me? Like, they were literally like telling them they were scumbags, they were demons, they had done something wrong.
When I came home, people literally spit at me coming through the airport.
Completely overlooking the fact that a lot of these guys didn't have a choice and were just doing it so they didn't go to prison, just to provide for their families back home and just take the fucking meager paycheck they could have got and, just do their part for their country. They came home, and the same people they were convinced that they were fighting for fucking hated them for doing it. So imagine the mental trauma that gave them. It's genuinely like fucking Stockholm syndrome. It's like abuse by your own country.
My biggest challenge in the beginning, coming home from Vietnam, was restraint. Coming through the airport and listening to somebody yell, baby killer, murderer, or whatever.
So the amount of trauma that this fucking created in these guys, like, you got to understand the resilience they had, the ones that didn't end up killing themselves, the ones that managed to pull through it, overcome the trauma with literally zero support at all, no infrastructure, no anything, and yet they still managed to turn it around as a civilian. They learned a skill, they raised a family, they had grandchildren, they learned a business, like, they built a life in America with such overwhelming odds against them, with such a handicap of being a fucking veteran, like, and the trauma that comes with it and the physical disabilities and stuff. It really, really is inspiring. So in my opinion, we absolutely should be learning from this. And here's some ways that we can actually do it. Here's what I personally take from whenever I think about these fucking incredible men. And this goes for the Vietnamese as well. For every story of Western warriorship, there's obviously another side to it as well. Whether it's the Germans in World War II, whether it's the Iraqis right now from 2003, whether it's Syrians, whether it's Vietnamese. A war needs two sides to fight, right? So anyone that goes through this, they're all experiencing the exact same shit as each other, and it just depends what side of you on is obviously the one that you're going to pay most attention to. But understand, masculinity is masculinity. To be an amazing man is an international language. It's an energy that transcends barriers and cultures, and you can be an amazing man that has all the traits of genuine warriorship and love and godliness, and you'll be okay in any culture in the world because real motherfuckers respect it and recognize it. So first and foremost, realize how blessed we actually are, right? Like, we should be so fucking grateful we've only ever known peace and never had to go to war out of necessity. So simply being alive right now in 2025, using the internet to listen to this video is such a fucking blessing. Like, these guys in the 60s had to run through septic traps, risk getting their balls blown off, set on fire, tortured, eaten by parasites, shanked to death, all against their will, a lot of it. And the list goes on. And still, they demonstrated insane resilience and courage. So we can easily apply that same resilience and courage to our own lives. And the best part of this is it's even easier because we have the internet. We have a million ways to become successful in 2025. It literally just requires discipline and hard work, just like these guys showed. And we basically get all the upside of success, of lessons, of growth with zero risk or downside. We're not going to get blown apart. We're not going to fucking be forced to endure unbelievable horrors and traumas. We can just try a few times, fail, and then eventually we're going to succeed as long as we just keep going. And there's no negative drawbacks to it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it really is a beautiful time to be alive in 2025. There's absolutely no reason to be negative ever. Also, however, there's another side to that coin, which is realize that easy times do lead to weak men. So it's not about just going, oh, thank God I don't have to do anything. No, that's going to lead to suffering, absolutely. So we must keep growing and keep sharp by seeking and overcoming our own challenges. Whether it's signing up for martial arts, learning new skills, fighting for a cause that you believe in, protecting your family, whatever keeps you accountable to discipline, to courage, to loyalty, to honor, chivalry, being a valuable member of society who maintains the peace that these veterans, these amazing men that came before us, these giants whose shoulders we stand on, let's maintain the peace they sacrificed everything for. They gave their lives for it. They gave their sanity for it, for us to have this opportunity right now to be amazing men ourselves. And the best part, though, is we get to choose what battles we want to fight in 2025. No one's forcing us to do it, to go fight battles we don't even want to be part of, like those guys had to go through. So stop fucking complaining about modern challenges when you have the luxury of literally choosing which challenges you get to even overcome. Stop making excuses and start blessing yourself with daily courageous actions, just like those guys did. Also realize that no matter what battle you do end up choosing as a warrior, you're going to offend someone. Do you get me? Like so as an example, you can defend your belief to not fight, be a pacifist, and you end up getting called a pussy and sent to jail, just like they did in Vietnam. So that's what happened in Vietnam. Or the other side of that coin is you do go to war, you do fight, and then you get rejected by the same pacifists who don't agree with you. So you're never going to please everyone. That is the lesson here. Whether you're a soldier in Vietnam or you're a fucking guy in 2025 who's trying to just like live his life in the craziness of the simulation in 2025, whether your political beliefs personally are completely different to the work culture and the corporate job that you've got, whether your girlfriend's family think differently to you, whatever it is, you have to choose a powerful purpose knowing you're going to cause some type of turmoil. But the only thing that actually matters is, are you happy with yourself and are you proud of your own ability to make sovereign decisions, and are you going to back those decisions with fucking righteous action? Don't give a shit about what others think. And in fact, haters and enemies are actually good because it shows you that you're doing something worth noticing in the first place. The worst thing you could do is having no one think anything about you, and that's a sign of a life weakly lived and wasted, basically. Do you get what I'm saying? And understand, again, it's a blessing. Our enemies today, they're not 5'2" oriental vicious midgets with a bayonet at the end of an M16 or an AK-47 fucking creating jungle traps that are going to mutilate us. We actually face the trappings of normality, of society, of our families, of people around us, like all holding us back. And the world trying to drag you down, your own inner doubts, the programming you've been hit with every second you've been alive, convincing you just to be a pussy and play it safe. So we've got to defeat them and fight them with the same ferocity that these warriors fought each other in Vietnam. Otherwise, those trappings will kill you. The comfort of modern society will kill you, except your death is going to be slower than the death on the battlefield. Importantly, and lastly, don't pick a purpose for the praise and glory of it. Do it because it's the right thing to do in your heart. Modern society will convince you that you need to do things a certain way, that your only options are either picking a career, going to school, doing the traditional route, getting a job, retiring at 70 or whatever, or, you can only escape that by becoming famous by any means necessary, being a retard on TikTok, or grifting your way to quick money and fucking selling fake courses, or like
doing devil's work like scamming, OnlyFans, drugs,
getting lucky on crypto or in sports or as a musician or whatever it is. Both of those are psyops. It doesn't have to be that extreme. There are infinite ways you can be successful. You just need to know what actually matters in your heart and to live with the honor and integrity and authenticity to that purpose that you discover in your heart. It's about self-discovery. Discover what matters to us and then going after it with the same tenacity those guys went after the enemy on the battlefield. Do you get that? And live with integrity and authenticity, and God is going to reward you. He's going to give you everything you need. You've just got to embody that loyalty, courage, honor, honesty, camaraderie, chivalry, righteousness, virtue. You fucking do that, and I promise you it's going to be absolutely fine. So in conclusion, stop complaining about modern challenges when you have the luxury of choosing your battles. Stop being a pussy and fucking go get it. Go be a warrior and go win, and honor those that gave their everything. Honor them and their sacrifice with your own success. Let's get it. Come on.
There was more bombs, 7 million tons, yeah. 7 million tons of ordnance of just explosive shit designed to just turn little kids into lasagna was fucking laying down into some random jungle, yeah. Oh, and there was this thing called Operation Linebacker at the end of Vietnam when they decided they were pulling out. That big plane that you just saw a minute ago, they just decimated Ho Chi Minh. Well, it wasn't even called Ho Chi Minh, it was called like Saigon, yeah. So they just fucked the capital. I don't even know if it was the capital, but they absolutely obliterated one of the biggest, these are the Americans, obliterated one of the biggest Vietnamese cities on their retreat. Kind of like what they did in Baghdad, Iraq. And we got to realise with all these bombs, this was all tax funded. So all of this was paid for by American taxpayers. Fam, this is an actual tunnel used by the actual Vietnamese to make sure they didn't get blown up in the war. Fucking hell, this is nuts. Oh my days. Bruv, are you mad? It's like proper we were soldier shit. God damn, what the fuck? Oh my days. Go on. Oh, this is mad right now. How the fuck have they made these? Yeah, I'm coming. I'm in awe of what I'm experiencing. This was really used in the war, innit? Yo, what the fuck?
First one. Yeah. Sammy!
Yo, right here, boss man.
You still alive?
Oh man, this is nuts.
Oh, that's like 3 times bigger than the real one, so no worry.
This is 3 times bigger, yeah?
Yeah, later get smaller and smaller.
So we started there, went underground and came up there. And you got to realise these went on for 60 kilometres. That's a little baby sample one. They actually made them for 60 kilometres. Are you mad? Shut up. There's another thing that's inspired me for today. Here's me like going, oh, I've got to build my sales funnel and my marketing system. Oh, it's so complicated. Bro, I've tried to build 60 kilometres of fucking 4 layers of tunnels to escape the American military. You get what I mean? If the Vietnamese can do this, I'm pretty sure I can build a good sales funnel. Just walking through a jungle, like, your impression of a jungle is that it's just all you can see is all there is. And then next thing you know, there's a 60-kilometre tunnel underneath you, and the only entrance is this. There's literally thousands of people living and moving and creating war plans underneath your feet, and this is how they get in and out. That is nuts. That is mad. That is so crazy. Oh, my man's just said that this is the real size of the tunnels. Look, like them holes there. You see that? You can't even see it. So the ones that we went in, a second ago have been made bigger so that tourists like me can fit in them. But the real ones look like that. The actual real tunnels are that small. So the real tunnels they used are tiny, bro. They're so small. So that would be looking like exactly the ground, and boom, spikes and that. Come on. Guerrilla shit. Guerrilla warfare out in the streets. Immortal Technique touched on this. That is buttered, bro. Fuck that. Ugh.
Clippings?
So what did he say it was called?
Salt, sugar, peanuts. Yeah.
Salt, sugar and peanuts, yeah?
Peanut allergies, please don't dip it for the love of God.
Okay, so you just like roll it.
Imagine being a
over.
Viet Cong, you've dug 60k of kilometers.
Has
tunnel.
or tapioca, really same like potatoes.
Yeah.
You just survived the napalm strike, but then you get done by a peanut because you got an allergy your mum never told you about.
Yeah.
Try a bit.
Try a bit.
Hey, I have
That's peak.
Try that.
Imagine that. Imagine getting mashed by a peanut allergy as a Viet Cong. Like one of the most decorated little tunnel fighters of guerrilla warfare. And then because the only food that everyone has is peanuts, that's it. So what's tapioca? What does that mean?
it's a root basically.
It's nearly like the potatoes.
So you're saying this is all the food, the only available food for,
Yeah,
for 5 years?
you can pick this one for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Up to you.
Yeah, up to you, yeah.
You have options. They don't.
And you dip it into that like that?
Yeah.
So this was the only food for 5 years, you're saying?
Yeah. 67, 72. During the time for the QQ.
Oh my days. What's the nutritional content of that then? Oh, give me them peanuts, they were good.
The peanuts are good. Just try that without it.
Nike factory.
So you dip your root into peanuts and salt for flavour. Spoken, yeah? This is some bullshit root that has no nutritional value or tastes good itself. Until you put it in the sugar and the salt and the peanuts, and then it's actually tasting not even that bad. It gives you a little dopamine spike. How is that any different to the average fast food diet in the West? No nutritional value. Look at the average Midwestern school kid. They eat corn-fed chicken in battery farms, or like bug-based protein we're heading into in 2025, and you sprinkle it in sauce, like KFC sauce. Oh, that's supposedly food. That's what the average American eats their whole life. The Vietnam were actually fucking better off, only 5 years. Plus they were getting the exercise of crawling through tunnels, running away from bullets. So you tell me who's healthier, you get what I'm saying? Like a fat, sedentary, useless American with no skills, or European or Westerner, or a Vietnamese that had to like fucking improvise guerrilla warfare in nature. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously I'm sort of joking, but I'm talking like the average. Like everyone that follows me, you are obviously going to be more educated, a bit more outgoing. You probably work out a couple of times a week, you're a fighter or whatever, but the average guy isn't. Like, think of the average slob, like that average slave-minded retard in the West today. Like, they really are eating this kind of terrible food in their own way, doing no exercise, doing nothing. So, do you know what I mean? Like, weigh one up versus the other. Who's more unhealthy? A Viet Cong eating this, or an American at 9 to 5 working at home remotely since the lockdowns, on Zoom meetings, eating fucking Deliveroo, and it's all just beige nonsense like burgers and chicken nuggets and shit, whilst doing no exercise, no challenge, not running away from napalm. Alright, this is what you call street smarts or roadman smarts here. Check these out, look. This is a shoe which you're supposed to wear back to front. So look, your foot goes like that, and you wear it like this. Boom, 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 like that. Versus these ones here, where you can see they're going the other way. Look. So here, look, I wear it this way round. Boom, 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 like that. Here, Why do you think that is? Can you guess? Do you understand? Because they create opposite tracks. Look, this makes me look like I'm walking backwards. This one makes me look like I'm walking forwards. So when you're getting tracked in the jungle, you're creating opposite tracks. You get what I'm saying? I don't know what she's doing. Work remotely, work anywhere from home. Yeah, you get what I mean? So little funky little street smart tricks like that. Confuse the enemy, make your tracks look like they're in different directions. That's the kind of lateral thinking that actually survives in life, that gets you ahead in life. You don't need like academic book smarts and fucking getting good marks in your SATs or your geography test. That's the lesson that I take away from stuff like this, is that whoever came up with that has just saved an entire fucking like thousands of lives and defeated the American military. You get what I'm saying? So the guy that came up with that probably doesn't have that good grades in geology class in year 7 in school and doesn't know his algebra that well. Who the fuck cares? You get what I mean? So if you're like stressing out about did you get the right marks or are you going to college or something, it doesn't matter. Like, have the kind of street smarts and the kind of lateral thinking that would win you a war. That's valuable. You get what I mean? That type of thinking is valuable. Creative thinking. Like, challenge the norm, the status quo. Like, that's the shit that people actually value. That's entrepreneurial, that's creative, you get me? That's like valuable shit right there. Imagine you're an inventor or something and you sell the patent for like a really valuable world-changing design. No one's going to say to you like, oh, well, what grades did you get before we give you £10 million for your startup company? No. You get what I mean? Don't overthink bullshit. Don't worry and stress about what modern society is telling you to stress about. None of it matters.
Just like spinning, okay. And then this one right here. Usually they storm in your house, checking ID, checking people, checking body. Usually these ones are being hanged behind the door, like all the way straight to the top, like that. So if I'm fully armed, I have like guns on me, I'm pretty confident. Do I knock on the door and say, hey, can you please open?
You break them.
Just like kick the door open. So the moment if I kick the door open, this one would be from all the way from the top, it would like swing down. Okay, so maybe if I'm quick enough, I can use either my hand or my guns. Try to block like this upcoming like upper part. But you see there's this rubber mechanism right here. So even if I block this part is still keep going. And you see where this one heading to? Depending on my height, but either belly or banana. Okay. So well, at least now I can still go to Thailand and get my problem fixed. There's that one, the steel ball.
Or you can use our NHS.
With a lot of spike. I would love to call that one Wrecking Ball from Miley Cyrus. It's a good song. But hang all the way to the top of the tree. You walk into the bush. That one swing down. You hear a song. I coming in like a wrecking ball. This is the end of our trip today. Thank you very much. Good trip, everybody. That's it.
Oh, thank you. Fuck that, are you joking? Oh my days. No thank you. No thank you to any of this. Like, thanks, but no thank you, innit? Man, my man's making surgeries in a tunnel. Fucking hell. Like, basically, yeah, these traps are actually booky. Like, you see that? This is the nastiest one, I swear down. Like, them ones come together and you step in it, and then as you fall down, your arms obviously fly to the side for balance, and that's why it's called the clipping armpit. The nails get you in the soft bit of your arm and just shred your brachial nerves and your arteries. This one, you step in it, look, no way of pulling it out. You have to just cut your leg out, basically. This is the one we saw earlier. But basically, apparently, he was just saying that these traps killed more people than ambushes. So, like, more people got mashed by these traps in the most gruesome way, like Saw, like the film Saw, than actually got shot. Like, more Americans got killed in traps by the Vietnamese version of the Jigsaw Killer than they got shot. That is fucked. That's not what you want. This guy here just flamethrowering people. See that? Oh. So basically, the lesson here, yeah, is what are you complaining about? You get me? Like 18-year-old Billy Joe from Nebraska had to fucking kick in doors where he's gonna get surgically castrated, potentially get his arm wrecked. He's gonna get mauled in about 20 different ways, get blown up, hit with a wrecking ball. Whereas all you've got to do to win is join Total Combat, link in the description.